Jesus was a sacrifice, not a survivor, from the enlightenment of the whole body, also in the book Towards the Radical Reformation of Christianity by Avatar Adidar Samraj. Jesus of Nazareth has become a universal archetypal figure or threshold personality in the minds of all mankind, but he has thereby become more a part of conventional mind and meaning than a servant of the real. Unfortunately, he has become identified with personal or egoic survival rather than perfect sacrifice of self, mind, life, emotion, and body. Paul the Apostle said that if Jesus did not survive his death, then belief in him and his teaching is fruitless. Therefore, the bodily and personal survival of Jesus became the traditional foundation of Christian belief and practice. But Paul's conception is false. The truth and the law of sacrifice are not verified or dependent upon the knowable survival or immortality of any man, including Jesus. The truth of the teaching of Jesus, itself an extension of the teaching of the ancients, did not at all depend on his survival, or more specifically, knowledge on the part of the others of his survival. If it did depend on his personal or conventional soul survival of death, or the knowledge of such on the part of others, he could not have taught anything of ultimate significance during his lifetime, and all teaching before his time would have been inherently false. But Jesus himself specifically denied both possibilities. The teaching of Jesus is essentially the ancient teaching of the way of sacrifice. He, like others, taught that the sacrifice that is essential is not cultic or external to the individual, but it is necessarily a moral and personal sacrifice made through love. It is the sacrifice of all that is oneself and all that one possesses into forms of loving and compassionate participation with others, and into the absolute mystery of the reality and divine person, wherein we all arise and change and ultimately disappear. Therefore, the proof of his teaching is not in the independent or not knowable survival of anything or anyone, but in the enlightened, free, and moral happiness of those who live the sacrifice while alive and even at death. We cannot cling to the survival of anyone or even ourselves. This clinging has, for centuries, agonized would-be believers who tried to be certain of the survival of Jesus and themselves. Truly, Jesus did not survive in the independent form that persisted while he lived, nor does anyone possess certain knowledge of the history of Jesus after his death. All reports are simply expressions of the mystical presumptions and archetypal mental structures of those who make the reports, and neither will we survive the process of universal disillusion everywhere displayed. Jesus sacrificed himself. He gave himself up in loving service to others and in ultimate love to real God. All who do this become what they meditate upon. They are translated beyond this self or independent body-mind into a hidden destiny in the mystery or intensity that includes and precedes all beings, things, and worlds.